Hey, welcome back to the channel. So today I thought that we would talk a little bit about my setup and kind of what I take with me when I'm going camping, since I'm loading to go camping this weekend. So first thing I take day trips or overnight camp trips is my fridge. The refrigerator that I chose is the Setpower. I think it's a 32 quart. It holds 44 cans. It comes without the handles attached, but you can attach them. They make good anchor points. The reason that I chose this one was kind of the dimensions worked perfectly to either fit in the middle of the rear seat in the Tacoma, or I could even put it in the passenger seat and seat belt it in either position. What I didn't realize was how well it was going to actually work out. So when I put it in the back seat, it actually wedges itself right in here, like perfectly between the driver's seat and the passenger seat, but I can still access the lid there and still reach all the controls and everything on the back side. So controls are pretty standard. It's just got, power. You've got your settings button for max and eco, and then plus and minus like any fridge typically is. Inside it has a small top shelf. So there's a small shelf at the top here that will allow you to set a few things. Sorry, this table's really slippery. So there's a small shelf at the top here that'll allow you to set a few small things up there, as well as a removable basket on the inside. The basket makes it nice because you can either remove it, take it to your fridge, stock it with whatever you're going to take, and then bring it back out and set it down in, or you can just remove it completely and put everything down in. There's in the bottom here, for those of you that like to take either wine or champagne for mimosas in the morning, down here in the bottom there's two indents. I don't know if you can see those very well, but there's two indents in there that'll allow a full-size bottle of wine or champagne to be able to sit down in there with the lid closing. You can see there's little cutouts in the lid as well to keep that secure. Super cool there. It does have a light on the inside, so when you open the lid, the light turns on. It also has a tether to help keep the lid from overextending, but also kind of keeps it closed a little bit too. So really like that. It also comes with both AC and DC power adapters. So I just have it bundled up and it kind of goes back together. So that is the Setpower fridge. You can catch them on sale every now and again. I caught this one on sale for like $250. So it was kind of a no-brainer for me to get it. And like I said, it's worked out perfectly for me in that aspect. So moving on. So next up, I keep a couple of these little Kickass Products lights in. These lights are super cool. So there's the button on the back. You hit it once and it goes to the front flashlight. You hit it a second time and it goes to the side in kind of a dim, and then there's 3 brightness levels for that. Again, it'll go to amber, again goes to red, blue, combination red and blue, and then off. At any point in time, you can just hold the button back and it'll turn off. It also has a glass breaker on the back end of it here. It is magnetic, so you can stick it to whatever you're working on. So you're working on something, tailgate, whatever, you can just stick it to that and it'll stick there. So these are kind of cool to put up on the truck on the side, kind of see what you're doing. The other nice part about these is that where you unscrew the cap to charge them, there is also a USB slot that will allow you to use it kind of as a power bank. So you can, if you have a rooftop tent or whatever, you can take these into your tent and power, inside lights or anything like that for most of the night with these lights. So I take a couple of these with me. I also have headlamps. I have rechargeable headlamps. These have a bunch of different brightness modes. I recommend the ones with the white and red thing, so you don't kill your night vision if you want to turn it on red. So I always keep a spare in case one dies or if somebody else needs one. I have my tablet that I use for navigation. So this has the mount that goes right into the desktop multi-mount from the Taco Garage. And I just download the maps onto it beforehand, and I don't have to worry about my phone or service or anything like that to be running maps. And then the Zoleo. So Zoleo, if you're unfamiliar, is a satellite communication device. This allows you to operate it from the app in your phone and send and receive text messages to any one of your contacts. There is also a little check-in button here that allows you to just hit a quick button and it'll send your coordinates and basically a short little message saying like, I'm okay, my location is, and it'll drop a coordinate. So you can just kind of reach over, you know, if you don't want to get out your phone and check in, you're like, hey, it's getting late in the day, maybe I need to tell home I'm okay. Just reach over, hit the button. And that's important because this also has, under this little flap, it has an SOS button. So kind of nice. You do have to hold that down for, I believe it's 3 seconds to send an SOS and then 5 seconds to cancel the SOS. And you can also do all that within the app as well. So that's super nice. I'm going to do a full review on that here shortly. I take a gallon of water. This stays kind of in the front seat with me. Gallons are easier, especially if you're camping someplace that's really cold. It's a lot easier to defrost, you know, 1 gallon if you need to. I also use this one to fill up, you know, my thermos or hydro flask, whatever, throughout the day. It's a lot easier to manage than one of the big jugs. Speaking of the big jugs, these are the 3-gallon ones. They actually are molded in the bottom so that you can stack them. So it'll actually sit right on top of here. And then I have a rechargeable electric spigot that goes on top of here that works really nice. I can just set it up on my table, hit the button, I can wash my hands, I can, you know, do dishes, whatever I need to do. And these containers they're plastic, but they're thick enough plastic that I can actually boil water, pour it in here out of one of my pots, and then I can have hot water to do dishes, or if I wanted to take a shower, I do have a rechargeable shower, stuff like that as well. So that works out well also. Next up is an 11-pound propane tank. I don't use this one for cooking or anything like that. I'll show you all my cooking setup in a minute. Mostly what I use this for is on weekend trips for the fire pit. We're in Arizona, so a lot of the time in the spring and summer we have fire bans. So like right now we don't have a fire ban, but where we're camping this weekend, there's not a lot of firewood. So rather than going and buying firewood, I just take the propane tank. These cost less than $10 to fill up. And for the most part, what I've realized is running the fire pit on like medium, low medium, I usually get about 1 hour per pound of use out of this. So 11-pound propane tank, I can get 10 or 11 hours out of it. And I do have a backup plan for that, which I'll show you momentarily. All right, so fire pit. I was running one of the larger fire pits, which I still have it. That fire pit was a round, I believe the total diameter was 22 inches, but the ring for the actual flame was only like 10 inches. So there was a lot of wasted space, and it didn't really put out, you know, heat in all that extra space to make it worthwhile. It was more made for like a backyard where you're just going to be kind of hanging out with some people and you just want a little bit of heat. These are actually made to travel. They've got a nice little, you know, bungee lid on them. It's 14 inches square. I picked up on Amazon. I'll put the link below, as well as the propane tank and a few of these other things. But these are nice. The only downfall to this one is that it does not have an auto igniter. You actually have to reach in with a match or a lighter or anything like that in order to start it. That was kind of a bummer for me, but I caught this one on a like Black Friday sale. I want to say it was like $85. So worked out great. They do come with the pumice stones inside of it for the heat. And what I do is I just took an old bath towel, folded it up, and crammed it in there, and then kind of squished the lid on, and it holds everything nice and tight, whereas I'm bouncing down the road, it doesn't allow those rocks to pound into each other and basically turn to dust, because they will really easily. It has a nice long cord on it. I want to say it's a 10 or 12 foot cord, so you can get the tank far away from the fire pit. And 1 second. All right, so what I did is I jumped on Amazon, a non-starter on this, and there is a little kit that you can get with a couple little fire starters. So it's just the same like a barbecue grill, has a little button. So you just drill a hole in the inside of this. It's got a little bit of cable on it and your igniter. They come in a 2-pack, and I want to say it was like $12. So I'll install that in this, and then I've got a buddy that ordered the same one, so I'll help him install the other one in this set for that one. So I'll be sub $100 for my fire pit with an auto igniter on it. I don't have to worry about matches, lighter, or anything like that, even though we always carry extra. It's just easier that way. All right, so next up, I keep a Rubbermaid tub here. This Rubbermaid tub has a extra sleeping bag, my heated blanket, the adapter for my heated blanket to charge it, as well as to use the solar panel to recharge it, so AC and DC. This is a travel pillow that rolls back up and gets in this nice little compact. I've got some LED camp lights that are pretty awesome, as well as a power bank. So this little power bank I got on Amazon. I actually searched it the other day to pick up a second one, and they were not available. So this is a 240 watt hour bank. It's made by Koyot, K-O-Y-O-T. It has a single AC on the top, and then it has 3 DC plugs for power out. It does have one for in that I can hook my solar panel up to, and then has a light. It has one USB-C, USB quick charge 3.0, and then 2 5-volt 3-amp USB on here. So you can actually plug a lot of things into this. I have tested it in my home and with my electric blanket on setting 4. I was able to run it for 7 hours consistently before this unit died. So that'll be more than plenty for when, you know, I'm taking overnight trips. I haven't tested to see how long the solar panel would take to recharge it, but at least I know it's good for overnight for that. So these lights, what I wanted to show you real quick. So I got these on Amazon. They were, I think, $14 or $17. They were $17. There is 30 feet of lights here. I keep a separate small power bank for these. They have a remote that you can go through all the different modes and everything else. There's also a controller right on the end of it in case you forget the remote. But to get into camp and just toss them up real quick and be able to have, you know, a string of lights, very handy. So I keep that in this bag as well. Cord for the electric blanket, and a few other things here. So let me box this back up. All right, so this is probably one of my favorite piece of kit. This is made by a company called Campac Gear. I saw an Instagram ad for them, looked at their website, their prices are pretty good. So this, as you can see, is a nice little package. It's not overly big, it's pretty light. Inside of this right now, in this size, is a 4-inch thick gel memory foam twin size mattress, as well as a sleeping bag and another blanket. and I'm not even close to compressed on this as far as the overall straps go. I could compress this a lot more. There's really no need. So usually what I do is I throw this in the back passenger seat, the driver's seat in the back, behind the driver's seat in the back. And that way, that's where I know I'm going to be getting in and out to my compressor and stuff like that that's behind that seat. So this is really easy to pull out. I can throw it up on top of the tent or throw it in the bed of the truck real easy. And I don't have to worry about, moving a bunch of tubs and totes and everything like that. All right. Last but not least is my I call it my kitchen box, but it's more like just a camp box. So it's just one of the small plano boxes. It's not watertight. It's very dust tight though. I've ran this in the back of the truck for a long time and I've never had issues with dust or anything in it. And this thing holds a ton of stuff. I've revamped it a few times and tried to kind of minimize stuff and make it what I needed to, as everybody should. But let's go through kind of what I keep in it. So first and foremost, right on top, I keep a GSI outdoor knife set. If you don't have one of these, you should definitely pick them up. I want to say they're like 40 bucks on Amazon. So you have a bread knife and 2 different sizes of regular knives. These do not come in the kit. It also comes with a folding cutting board. So that one folds out and it makes a nice good sized cutting board along with a drip edge on the side there. I actually did a review and reached out to GSI and said, hey, you guys should make this fold the opposite direction. As it is right now, it folds to the back. So when you're cutting, it folds this way. If it folded the other way, so if this was your cutting surface, then you could actually fold it and scoop whatever you're cutting into your pan. Seems like that could be a pretty simple fix. So GSI, if you're watching this, get on it, please. It also comes with a little microfiber towel to clean with. It is washable. I wouldn't recommend using this on anything else. It does have, looks like a little bit of like steel wool woven into it to be a bit abrasive to wash stuff with, as well as a little bottle to keep some soap in. These knives are very sharp. I haven't had any issues with them losing sharpness, anything like that. They seem that they're going to be maintaining sharpness for a while. And then as you saw, I added a couple pieces into it. So one of the things I added was the GSI Outdoor folding spatula. These are pretty cool. They fold in half, and that gives you a nice little spatula. It even has a hook on the back of it so that you can hang it up in camp. It's got a nice little hole in the middle so you can hang on to it, and when you're done, it just folds right back up and stows away real easy. This is the Gerber, I can't remember the name of it. I'll put the name right here at the bottom. But if you've never seen one of these are pretty cool. So it all comes apart, slides out the back here. So you have a little spatula that also has a silicone scraper on it, so you can get down in the corners and edges and get your pancake batter and stuff out. It has a little bit of a like saw side to it. I don't really know what you would use that for, except for maybe if you're cooking like ground beef or something. It has this piece, which has a bottle opener as well as can opener. Bottle opener, can opener. And then on this end of it, it is a potato peeler. So kind of a cool deal there. And then it has a long-handled spoon as well as a spork. Now, the other cool part about this is you can actually take the spatula and the spork and you can slide them together, and now you have tongs. Definitely a cool piece to keep with you. And I want to say these are like $25, maybe $30. They come in a couple different colors. I've had this one for years, but you can get these on Amazon as well. I'll link them below. All right, on to the next. All right, next up, this is a pop-out. I use it for dishes, but you could use it if you were, washing food or prepping big something. I don't know. It collapses. It's a collapsible tub. Like I said, I use it for dishes. Underneath that, I keep coffee and hot cocoa. That is the Wildland coffee in a tea bag. I've done a video on that one. Those are lifesavers. You should definitely get some of that. It's very cheap, very high quality coffee. Most of the time I don't even need creamer for it. I do carry creamer, but I almost never need it. I keep a few Mountain House meals in here, or ReadyWise, or what's the other one? Anyways, there's a few different meals that I always keep in here, mostly because, like I said, I don't have constant power for my fridge, so I don't want to have to worry about food. These are easy, dehydrated meals, and they're filling and super easy when you're done with the trail for the day. This is a little collapsible bowl with a lid, and I thought it was pretty cool. I picked it up, I don't know, it was like $4 or $5, and the only thing I've used it for so far was when we were having chips and salsa in camp. It was great for salsa, rinses out easy, wipes out, and if you're not doing dishes that night, you can just collapse it down, put the lid on it, throw it back in your box, do the dishes when you get home, or the next time you're doing dishes. I keep a roll of blue shop towels in here, like paper towels, but the blue shop towels work better. Some microfibers for when I'm like washing dishes and whatnot. This is a mini backpacking stove. It's only like a 16-ounce water capacity, but it boils water super fast. There's a pot, a bowl, the canister of fuel, as well as the stove itself, folding spork, and salt and pepper, all in this little bitty package. I'm not going to break it all out right now. I'm sure you've seen it. I'll put a link below to one. They're like $30. I've had this one for almost 10 years, and I've never had an issue with it. It also auto ignites, so you don't have to worry about strikers and all that. Koozies, no need to talk about those. We know what they are. Tall cans, wide cans. Electrolytes. Electrolytes are important. I keep them in here. They're important for a couple reasons. First reason is usually when you're out on the trail all day, you're probably not drinking enough water, not nearly as much as you think you are. And you might not even be eating correctly. So electrolytes, these are just the little tabs. Usually any sporting event, you can get some for free. I've got a pile of these Spartan ones from the last Spartan races, and they work good. The second thing that they're really good for is if you're going to be hanging out and having some adult beverages around the campfire all night, take some of these before bed, and some ibuprofen, whatever, and you'll wake up in the morning feeling good, not bad. I keep some extra cups. These are the Brew Trek cups. They are not insulated, but they are powder coated. They do keep your hand kind of protected from heat. I really only use these if somebody else needs a cup. I put one of the blue shop towels in between them, so this cup is actually orange. But I keep a blue shop towel in between them to make sure that rattling down the road, they're not rubbing off on each other. And then inside of there, like I said, I keep some creamer. If you get this style of creamer, you can get a big box of them at Walmart, and they don't have to be refrigerated, so I just keep a baggie of those. Like I said, I personally don't really do creamer in my coffee all the time, but maybe somebody that I'm with wants to try some. So I keep that. I have an extra dry bag. So again, dirty dishes, dirty towels, whatever, I can throw it in this, throw it in the bag or in the back of the truck, and not worry about that. Like I said, this is almost like a camp box also, but extra roll of teepee. So I just put it in a Ziploc bag and I put it in the bottom here. This roll is brand new. It's been in this box for probably 10 years. It's never been used. So that's the only reason I'm okay with keeping it next to the food stuff, is it's never been used. Once it, does need to be used, then it'll go someplace else and it'll get replaced with a brand new roll. This is more like an emergency backup. I prefer, if I do need to utilize something of that nature, I prefer to use the dude wipes. They're little single-use like towelettes. You can use them on your hands. You can use them if you need to use the restroom. They're great for that aspect, and they're really cheap. I think you get a 30-pack of them for like $7 at Walmart. So look into those. But this works really good to keep everything in position inside the box. I have a large fuel canister for my backpacking stove, so I don't have to burn up the small ones. Extra camp knife, extra camp cup, and then here's some random stuff. Playing cards, always great to have in your camp box in case you get bored. I would definitely recommend getting one of the ones that have some sort of like waterproof coating on them. That way you don't have to worry about that. Webbing gear organizer. It's just got a couple carabiners with some loops and carabiners on it in case you need to hang any of this stuff up in camp. I've never used this either. I keep it in here in case I do need it. Here is my little water dispenser. I'm not going to open it up, but you can see in the picture it just sits on top. It's electric. Put it back in the box. Works great. Never had an issue with it. This is the GSI Outdoor. This one is I want to say it's the Bugaboo Camper. And this is a super cool setup. So what it is you have this case that it all sits in. And it's pretty hard to take it out of here. I almost never do. But this is a 2.5 liter pot, okay? And then this bag is actually made to be a dish washing bag. So I can boil water and put it in this bag and then use that other collapsible sink to rinse and put everything in there as I'm washing, put them in there and wait to rinse them. So there's that part of it. It also has the buckle on the top that secures it to the other side, makes a good carry handle. So we have on the top here, as you pull it off, it looks like the lid. You have the actual lid, and then this lid fits not only the pan. Here, we'll start at the beginning. So you have a pan, skillet. You have 4 plastic plates that are color coded, so you know which kid or friend or whatever, whose plate's whose. You have the lid. This lid fits both the frying pan, the 2.5 liter pot, and I don't remember if it's a 2 or a 1.5, I'll tell you in a second. But it fits all 3, and it does have holes in it to strain. So if you're making, boiling water, like pasta, anything like that, you can strain it in camp. Down inside of here, nestled in here, there are 4 of these that are color coded the same way as the plates, and these slide open, and this is a bowl, this is a cup with a insulated sleeve, and then inside of one of these is the handle that goes back and forth between all the different pots and pans and everything. In addition, I have added some of the drink tabs. So when you're hanging out and everybody's enjoying their beverages, if they're all the same beverages, you can slide whatever color corresponds to your stuff on the beverage. And these actually work pretty good too. You can slide them around and cover the opening. So if you're going to be away for a minute, you don't have to worry about bugs and stuff flying down in your drink. On the lid, there is vents so you can sip. So if you have small kids, they can also sip out of those and not spill everything everywhere. All right, and then in the very bottom is a 1.5 liter pot. So you have a 2.5 liter pot, a 1.5 liter pot, 4 bowls, 4 cups with sippy lids, 4 plates, a lid that fits all 3 items with strainer capability, and I think I already talked about the plates, and the wash tub. This is an awesome, awesome kit. A friend of mine had one, and within minutes of seeing it, it was already on my list, and I bought it as soon as I got home and back to service. So these are super cool. I would highly recommend getting them. The stainless ones are a lot cheaper than the Teflon ones. And that's, you know, whatever your preference is. I like stainless over Teflon, but, you know, whatever your preference is. And last but not least, in this box is the backup 5-pound propane tank. So this one works great. Again, this will give me an extra few hours. Eventually, I do want to upgrade my stove and get a little bit bigger stove. Once I do that, then this one will be used for that stove, and I'll have the extension tube and all that. But this 5-pound tank fits in this tote perfectly. So let me repack this, unpack everything when you get home, clean everything up, and then repack it and restock it with whatever you've used out of that trip. And with the lid on, nothing goes anywhere, it doesn't bounce, it doesn't rattle. So the only other things that I keep with me is camera bag, extra batteries, mounts, all that stuff. I have a GoPro with a magnet, very strong magnets. And then I have a little, this is a Cam Park X40. It's a little 4K knockoff action cam. It was like 60 bucks. Came with a few batteries. It works really good for like time-lapse stuff. Other than that, I don't really use this one much as a like action cam. And then my drone, and I keep this in a hard case. That way, going down the trails and stuff, I don't have to worry about dust and everything there. This is actually not the drone I have been using. This is a brand new, I just got the DJI Mini 3 Pro. So we will see how this one stacks up this weekend when we go out. So all nice and new and shiny, and hopefully stays that way in a non-crashed fashion. So I'll have to do an update on that one. And so other than that, the tripod and the camera, or the GoPro that is recording, that's everything that I keep with me. And then I try and set everything up in a way that if I'm just going for the day, then I can grab, I can grab my kitchen box and still have food and stuff if I need it. I can grab my gallon jug of water and not have to worry about, stopping for drinks or whatever. I can take my fridge and load it. If I'm going for, one night, then, maybe I don't need my fire pit and the big propane tank. Maybe I just want to grab the fire pit and use the little 5-pounder that's always in here. So I have things kind of set up where I can just kind of grab and go. I'm trying to downsize that even more. I bought a mount for the truck for the 5-pound propane tank. And I want to get that mounted. That'll free up the space in here to put my power bank, the lights, all that kind of stuff. I want to add some dividers in here and put all that in here. And then I can take my cam pack compression bedding system and put my extra sleeping bag and pillow and everything in there. That'll eliminate one of the totes. That way, no matter what I'm doing, I can just grab a couple of things and keep it kind of minimalist. I also want to kind of redo all my camera stuff. I'm just not really sure how I'm going to do that yet, because I'm sure anybody else that films a lot of stuff, you take a ton of stuff with you and don't use half of it. I would say 99% of the time I use this camera on this mount with 2 spare batteries, and I use the camera that's recording, and I rarely use the tripod. I rarely use any of the other mounts, so obviously that's something that could be downsized a lot. So with that, if you have any questions, any suggestions, if there's stuff that you think that I should have in here that I don't, let me know. And like I said, I'll put links to everything that I can remember down in the description. And if there's something you saw that I didn't put a link to, or you want to know how I feel about it, more in-depth review, anything like that, leave a comment below. If you've seen on any of my other videos, I try to respond to every comment in a timely manner. So hope that this helps you guys out. Thanks again for watching. Keep an eye out next week as we're going to do some more gear reviews and probably some footage from the camping trip this weekend. So until then, like I said, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.